Hello and welcome to another Bodgit and Leggit video. Today we have a 2002 Volkswagen Passat 1.9 diesel behind us and the alternator is gone. Now this car, they don't live around the area and it basically broke as it was coming past here, so they were kind of lucky in one way, I suppose. Now they've gone and got a second-hand alternator. Personally, I don't think that's the best thing to do, and the reason is because it's a second-hand alternator. You don't know. That alternator could be on the point of going. It could even be gone. So I personally, if you're going to get an alternator or starter motor, you get second-hand one, no problem, but go and get it checked out first. Go to the guys that recondition them just to see if it needs anything. So that's what I personally say. So we're going to fit this second-hand alternator and let's hope for the best. Another thing you got to worry for is on these alternators, they've got a slip clutch on them. Now you have to be able to turn, the camera might not show this, I can turn this clutch inside here, so I can hold the blade here and I can turn the clutch. I don't know if you can see that. The blade there is not moving, so if I put my finger there I can turn this clutch. That's important. If that was seized, the belt's going to last about 5 minutes and heat up and snap, so it's important to check that, especially when you're getting a second-hand one. When you send it off to the reconditioners, they'll obviously do all that for you. So we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty of changing this. It should be fairly straightforward. There's only a couple of bolts, as you can see, and a couple of connections on the back. How do we know the alternator is gone? Well, for the first thing, the battery light is on. Now, when the battery light comes on the car, it could be one of two things. Your fan belt could be snapped. Now, depending on the car, if your fan belt's snapped, your steering might go heavy because it controls your power steering pump. So if your steering's still okay, it's a good thing to check the battery, so that's what we're going to do next. I've just got my voltmeter. As we can see, and the camera's picking up, only 8.3 volts is going into it. So we know that's nowhere near enough. So let's get cracking changing it. Now the first thing you want to do, which you're not going to be able to see because I can't get it there, is there's a wire connection at the back. I'm just going to get a little screwdriver just to pull the connection apart and slide it off. Now the camera's going to show that. That's just a little clip there, which just clips onto the alternator there. The next one we have is then the actual wire. So it might be a 10 or a 13 mil bolt to take that off. Now what you do need to do is you need to disconnect the battery before you take this fella off. So there we go. Get that out of the way of everything. Now we can take the two bolts off, which hopefully you can see. One of them is here and the other is further down. I'm not going to be able to show it on the camera, but you're going to, once you're doing it yourself, you will be able to see where it is. There's the top one. The bottom one is harder to get to, but what we need to do first is we need to take off the fan belt. It really is a stupid place they put these. I don't know if you can see that there's a bolt right in the middle there where my hand is. The camera's showing that. It's going to be difficult to see. And that's the tensioner, the automatic tensioner. I don't know why they put them in the fucking positions they do, because you just can't get to anything. All I'm doing now is I'm just loosening this alternator, which is loosening the fan belt, which I might actually be able to do it this way. That might be an easier way for me. So I'll try and show that on camera. I've loosened, so you can see we've still got the bottom bolt of the alternator here. The fan belt is now loose, so I can take off this bottom bolt, put the fan belt back on and try and stretch the alternator back, which is the harder way of doing it, but it's easier than trying to get something on there. And not only that, someone has damaged that nut and it's rounded, so I'm going to struggle getting a spanner or anything on that, which is another nightmare. Trying to get this as clear as I can, but I'm just struggling because there's no room. But hopefully you get the idea of what's going on. You have to wonder, with the billions of pounds they spend on designing cars, why they make them so awkward to work on. And this is now another problem. The bolt hits the fan. You can see that. Can we get that in there? This bolt hitting the fan, I can't take it all the way out to get the alternator out. So what we have to do is, sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't, is kick the bottom of the alternator out if we can, which I can't. Right. Sometimes, to be fair, they're actually designed to come off. Let's see if this one is. Sometimes they've got a slit in the body which does allow this to pass through. I just can't remember if this one does. And the answer to that question is no, this one doesn't. So more fun and games. I mean, if they just made a little hole in one of the, in somewhere in the fan so you could slide the bolt through, that'd be so much easier, but no. Don't make things easy. Now what we've actually done is we got lucky. One alternator out. Now before you put the alternator back, what you need to do is these little tabs here that hold the alternator, you need to make sure these are pushed back, because otherwise, depending on the car this was on, this tab might have been closer and it's not going to fit in the hole. The easiest way I found to do it, now you have to be very, very careful because these tabs will break off very easy. You screw the bolts a good halfway down and just get a little hammer and tap the end of the bolt, and that will push out this pin. But believe me, be very, very careful. It will just make your life a lot easier for when you're putting it in. Now what we need to do is we need to get this back in, but I need to put the bottom bolt a little bit in first, otherwise I'm not going to be able to get it in. Before I do that, let's just get this sitting down here. What I'm going to do is, because it's just so awkward, I'm just going to cut the end of that bolt off, which is, there's no threads there, and that'll just give me an extra 3 or 4 mil, and hopefully that will work. Now you can see that I haven't touched the threads, I've just cut the little locator thing off, which shouldn't really be a problem. It's going to make my life easy to get this in, I hope anyway. And this is just absolutely fucking ridiculous. I don't know how the other one came out, I was just obviously lucky whichever angle I got it at. Nah! Fucking got it! Stupid fucking thing. Now that's screwed in, what I'm going to do, I'm going to line up this fan belt now, and hopefully I can do it this way. There's no guarantees either. Just the adjuster has been messed with. Now, can I do it this way? There's going to be pressure on it, but hopefully I'm going to maybe try the adjuster and pull this at the same time, and hopefully I should be able to do it. Because I can't get the adjuster on it properly because it's just, I can see the bolt's completely rounded. So hopefully with pushing the alternator and also trying to get the adjuster, both of them together should hopefully work. I'm just going to tighten this bolt a little bit at the bottom, not fully. Should hopefully be able to tighten it once it's in, but even that's going to be awkward. All I'm doing now is pushing that little bar in that we push back. WD helps when you put them on the little things you need to push back, the little bar things, or little adjusters. So definitely put WD on them or some sort of stuff. Now we're about 1 inch away from the top bolt. So, yeah. I mean, if I can get a bar in the bottom, I should be able to get the adjustment, but again, I have to be careful doing it this way. But this is the problem when you have people working on cars that either use the wrong tools or something and they damage a bolt, and it forces you to do things like this, because I just can't get to that adjuster properly. Now, I should be able to do that. If you can see, I've got a bar in there, and I'm just, again, I really don't like doing it this way. This isn't great by any means, but I can't see any other way around it. Not even the bolt will fit in. Right. If the adjuster wasn't broken, I could just take the fan belt off and put it on normal, no problem. But I can't do it with this one. Well, there we go. Nah, I was lucky, got away with it. Really don't like doing it that way, because you're just putting pressure on things you don't really want to be putting pressure on, and you could break it very, very easily. But we got away with it, and there was no other way of really doing it. I'm not going to take the front off just to do an alternator. So this is the problem with older cars and with all sorts of that. When people have been working on them and they're using the wrong tools, it can very quickly cause a big problem. Now hopefully I can tighten this bottom one, because if I can't again, we're in shit. Can't get it with a ratchet, so hopefully I can get it with a spanner. And lucky enough, I can get it with a spanner. Get it with the ratchet end. Unfortunately not. But we can get it with the ordinary end. That's all that matters. Now, sort it. Put the wire back. Just put the little cap back on, and now put that back on. We connect the jump leads and the wire again, because, or the battery wire, because I'm not going to be able to start it with that battery. And then let's see if it starts. Make sure everything's on properly. Now let's see if this will start it. Right, well the battery light went off inside. So let's now check this. So at the minute there's 2 batteries on this now, so there's a big load on it, and as you can see it's 14 volts, and that's charging 2 batteries. So we know 100% this is good. Just going to leave that, or this here, ticking over to charge up, and yeah, it should be fine. It should be a lot simpler than that. That was a nightmare. I don't know why they do it that way. So yeah, look, hope it helps. Thumbs up and subscribe. Tell all your friends and all that. Look at the shop, website, and following coming soon.